नमो नमो Maria, नमो नमो Maria, Nutacha Namaskar, Namo Namo Maria, Namo Namo Maria, Nutacha Namaskar. Jaboti Janmage Prabhudayana, Jaboti Janmage Prabhudayana, Namo Namo Maria, Namo Namo Maria, Nutacha Namaskar. Jaboti Janmage Prabhudayana, Jaboti Janmage Prabhudayana.
जय श्री माताजी। श्री माताजी को दोनों हाथ जोड़कर वंदन करते हैं, प्रार्थना करते हैं। श्री माताजी, 23 दिसंबर 2020 से 2 जनवरी तक ऑनलाइन सहजयोगा वर्ल्ड टूर के कार्यक्रम संपन्न हो रहे हैं। आज 2020 के इस आखिरी दिन हम सभी सहयोगी बेल्जियम, फिनलैंड, मेक्सिको, सिंगापुर यहाँ की सहज यात्रा करने वाले हैं। कृपया आप हमें इस यात्रा के लिए आशीर्वादित करें और आपके साथ यह यात्रा करने का अवसर प्रदान करें। With folded hands, we'll pray. Shri Mataji, we are having online Sahajayoga World Tour since 23rd December to 2nd January. Today is the last day of year 2020. Today we'll be going to Belgium, Finland, Mexico and Singapore. Shri Mataji, we are thankful to you for blessing us to be part of this tour along with you. Shri Mataji, allow us to start today's journey. Welcome all brothers and sisters on board. हमें पता है कि आप लोग आहिस्ता आहिस्ता ज्वाइन होते हैं, लेकिन समय बहुत कीमती है, इसलिए 2 मिनट इधर उधर प्रतिष्ठान पुणे से सारा प्रसारण ऑन टाइम होता है। सो रेडी टू टेक ऑफ। चलिए, आज हम जाएंगे सीधा बेल्जियम, उसके बाद फिनलैंड, मेक्सिको एंड ब्यूटीफुल सिंगापुर। सभी देशों में लॉकडाउन है, लेकिन घर पर बैठकर विदाउट पासपोर्ट, विदाउट वीज़ा, विदाउट सिटिंग इन फ्लाइट, घर का खाना खाते खाते वर्ल्ड टूर चल रही है। कितने लकी है हम। जी हाँ। So let's be ready, and the flight is taking off from Pratishthan Pune to Belgium.
तो चलिए हम शुरुआत करते हैं हमारी सहज यात्रा की। बेल्जियम Belgium is a small European country sharing its boundary with France, Netherlands, Germany. The capital of Belgium is Brussels. It has 3 official linguistic communities, which are French-speaking, Dutch-speaking, and German-speaking. Belgium is also famous for its cuisine. So let us fasten our seat belts and fly to Belgium. श्री माता जी ने बेल्जियम को विराट की लेफ्ट नाभि बताया है। श्री माता जी यहाँ 1982 से 1993 के दौरान कई बार बेल्जियम गए। उन्होंने वहाँ कई पूजाएं ली, जैसे कि देवी पूजा, महालक्ष्मी पूजा, श्री बुद्ध पूजा, श्री विष्णु माया पूजा आदि। श्री माता जी has said that Belgium is famous for peace and Holland for justice.
talked about the Spirit, about the Holy Ghost. In Quran it is called as Ruh, in Indian language it is called as Adi Shakti. In every language they have word for Holy Ghost. The only trouble is that if you just accept English language or Dutch language as the last word, then you cannot relate it to anything else. This Kundalini is the reflection of that Adi Shakti, of that Ruh within us. This is the residual power, is the power of our ultimate desire which has not yet manifested. While in the Spirit, the God Almighty, our Creator, or whatever you may call Him, by what name, is reflected as Spirit.
William Blake was a poet and a poetical mystic. Are you a mystic as well?
I don't know what to call myself, it's very difficult.
You know what mysticism is?
I know. You can call me everything, I think. It's quite a integration of so many things I have. But I would like to call myself as the mother. That's the sweetest and the best, I think. Because I'm very patient, perhaps, and extremely forgiving.
She was like a mother. She was so honest and so true. She felt like true. This was for me the most convincing thing.
The teacher of the children was carillon player in Mechelen. And we thought if he wants to do it, maybe we can welcome Shri Mataji with the song of Kundalini on the carillon. And so we asked him, and he did it. We made music for it. And when Shri Mataji moved the second time from here to the hall, they opened the window and they heard the carillon playing Kundalini. So that was her welcome here in Mechelen.
श्री माता जी की बेल्जियम विजिट की कुछ तस्वीरें।
Now, if you see this center as a carbon atom, you make a model out of a carbon atom. And then you watch. If you see this one, or how about for any project, that's it. That scientist is here. So if you see it from right side, on the left side, what you see of that atom is a swastika. Clearly. Then if you see it from left side to the right side, you see Omkar. If you see from down upward, then you see Alpha and Omega. In the same way, I would request you, the Sahajayogis, not to worry as to what is happening around, but to worry what is happening inside and build up your Mahalakshmi principle. Once you have built up your Mahalakshmi principle, you will have no problem at all. Then through you, the Mahalakshmi herself will work and fill your countries with great bounties and great joys.
अभी हमने श्री माता जी की 1986 में हुई श्री महालक्ष्मी पूजा की स्पीच सुनी, जिसमें श्री माता जी हमें समझा रहे हैं कि मूलाधार कार्बन एटम से बना है और अगर कार्बन एटम अर्थात अणु को अलग अलग एंगल से देखा जाए तो वे 4 प्रकार लेता है, जो कि है ओम, स्वास्तिक, अल्फा और ओमेगा।
Task also we had to do that was find a place to have a puja, and one place was fixed, and when we came home it was cancelled. Again we found another place, and when we came home it was cancelled again. So we reported to Shri Mataji, and we said, it's like there is something negative in the air for the puja. Immediately she said, we'll do it here. Tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. And it was already maybe 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. And there was an older man, William, I think, from the UK, who said, you need a lot of fruit. So somebody went to the Carrefour, finding a lot of fruit was the only thing they had, because we had no material for the puja, nothing. And little by little it grew. The question why she came here, nobody knows, because before we didn't know that she would come. Shri Mataji stood at the door with Patricia, and so we let her in. And from that time, we didn't have time to think even, because we had to do a lot of practical things. We had to receive Shri Mataji, cook for her, and little by little, leaders came also in, and they slept also here on the ground. It was a nice meeting and happening. And yeah, we just did our level best without any protocol knowing. Yeah.
इनके अनुभव से हमें पता चलता है कि कैसे जब हम सहज का कार्य करने जाते हैं तो एक दैवीय शक्ति हमारा साथ देती है और सारे कार्य अपने आप ही बड़ी सरलता से हो जाते हैं.
The end of puja, as it was happening at that time, you know, when a baby was born in a Sahaj family, he was presented to Shri Mataji, and Shri Mataji was giving the baby a name, Indian name, you know, and so that took place at that moment. I don't remember who, but someone, a mother, came with the baby, you know, and asked Shri Mataji to bless the baby and give her a name, and that's what she did. And then suddenly a grown-up also stood up, you know, and came to Shri Mataji and said, Mataji, could I also get a name? And everyone around was a bit shocked, you know, or astonished, and because it was not usual. I mean, no one would have dared to do that, I would say. And even the leaders that were there, they tried to stop her. But she said, no, come. And then she started giving a name to this person, to this lady that had this courage to stood up and go in front of Shri Mataji and ask, Shri Mataji, please give me a name. And then one after the other, we all stood and came to her, you know. And so, and I remember very well, the leaders started to stop us, you know, and they didn't want that we bother Shri Mataji, but she was saying, no, let them come. And me, for the same reason, at the beginning, I was stepping back. I didn't know, I'm not going to add more to this, you know. It's enough. I mean, 10, 15, 20 or 30 people had already their name. But at a certain moment, I really felt the need also to stand up. Then I was sitting next to, I remember, and we stood up together. You know, and it was really at the end of the thing, you know, everyone had got a name already. And then we stood up, we had the two of us in front of her, and she gave us Nanaka, the name to Eno, and Janaka to me.
I received this name Madhura during the Mahalakshmi Puja in Mechelen. It was 1987, when all children received their names, all small children. It was a real benediction, because a lot had changed after receiving my name Madhura. And I was called Madhura by all. It was like a real mantra. Shri Mataji explained that Madhura is a quality of Sri Krishna. Madhu means honey, Ra means nature, energy. At that point, my voice really changed a lot. I used to talk very quickly and with a high voice. And my voice had softened, and I started talking much slower. I had the impression that until then, my sweetness, my real nature, had never had the chance to develop. It was a very important transformation, and a very strong one.
हमारी बेल्जियम की सहयोगिनी हमें बता रही हैं कि श्री माताजी ने उन्हें मधुरा नाम दिया, जिसका अर्थ उन्होंने बताया मधु यानी शहद और रा यानी शक्ति। मधुरा जो कि श्री कृष्ण का गुण है। जब से उन्हें यह नाम मिला उसके बाद से ही उनकी वाणी में एक मधुरता स्थापित हुई और उनके जीवन में कई परिवर्तन आए।
So now the responsibility of Belgians are the peace, so the Holland people is the justice. So though Belgium may look a small country, it's a very important instrument in the universe.
I lived in the ashram in Rue Marie de Page in Brussels. It was decided very fast. Those days we had weekly meetings on Sundays, and we thought we needed an ashram for Belgium. And I had this voice inside of me telling, I have to go to the ashram. And I was really propulsed in that adventure. It was a beautiful house, like a mansion style, with a beautiful entrance, beautiful stairs in coil shape. And we started this adventure with several of us, which lasted about 1 year. And in that 1 year, many things happened, very intensive things also. Like there was Shri Mataji who stayed in the ashram, and it was such a blessing for us to have her at home. She stayed about 4 to 5 days, I think. There was also a public program organized, and she slept in a room we had specially prepared for her, beautifully. And after Shri Mataji had left, we didn't even use this bedroom, as the vibrations were flowing so intensively. The couple even waited 3 weeks before reoccupying their bedroom. Same as for the couch, where Shri Mataji spent hours and hours receiving yogis who came for advice. Yes, really, vibrations are incredible in a room where Shri Mataji stays for some days. Another thing which always surprised me is that physically Shri Mataji was smaller than me, and every time when I was in front of her, she was looking really immeasurable, huge, much taller than me. And always she was appearing to me very white, up to a point that one day I said the mantra of Shri Annapurna, as I saw her as a huge mountain while standing in front of me. It was strange. I would have hidden myself like a small mouse in a hole, but nobody noticed what happened, nor heard anything. Always when I was near her, I always felt so small, small like a shy child.
श्री माताजी 1988 में बेल्जियम के आश्रम में रहे और आज भी जिस कमरे में श्री माताजी रुके हुए थे वहाँ का वातावरण बहुत ही चैतन्यमयी है.
Public program of this year faced some difficulties. Some people went against the program. Shri Mataji called the police commissioner, showed her diplomatic passport, and spoke about her need and right to give her conference. On the day itself, the police kept away the protesters, and everyone could come inside the hall peacefully. In the newspaper, there were also negative articles against Sahajayoga. Shri Mataji explained that it doesn't matter if somebody attacks Sahajayoga. Sahajogi need to remain always positive, that all that is negative against Sahajayoga is turning in favor of the truth. She added, the picture is beautiful and people will see only that. In fact, a lot of people came and everything went fine.
September 1990. The center of Ghent had the charge to prepare the Bhairava Puja of
In 1988, there were some people protesting against Sahajayoga. Shri Mataji went to see the police commissioner and showed her diplomatic passport and expressed her strong desire to give public program. In the evening, police came and gave protection to the new seekers, and the program went peacefully. In spite of negative article against Sahajayoga in the press, there were many seekers in the hall.
And everything went fine.
September 1990. The center of
जब 1988 में बेल्जियम में पहला पब्लिक प्रोग्राम हुआ, तब वहाँ पे कई लोगों ने इस पब्लिक प्रोग्राम को प्रोटेस्ट किया। न्यूज़पेपर में सहयोग के अगेंस्ट में भी कई सारे आर्टिकल्स छपे। तो तब श्री माताजी वहाँ के कमिश्नर के पास गई और शाम को पब्लिक प्रोग्राम के टाइम में वहाँ की पुलिस ने इस पब्लिक प्रोग्राम में पूरा सपोर्ट किया, जिससे कई सारे नए सीकर्स वहाँ पर आ सके। जब बेल्जियम में पब्लिक प्रोग्राम लेने की शुरुआत हुई थी, तब वहाँ कई नकारात्मकताओं ने इस कार्य में बाधा डाली, लेकिन श्री माताजी ने सहयोगियों को हमेशा समझाया कि उन्हें सकारात्मक रहना चाहिए और सत्य के मार्ग पर चलते रहना चाहिए।
at the church to prepare the Bhairava Puja offered by Shri Mataji. It was organized in an open field. A big tent had been set up. We were expecting many people, and yogis came from abroad. The evening before, there was a public program in Brussels. Everything was ready. At the last moment, a message came that Sir CP was not keeping well, and Shri Mataji won't come. This was really a shock, and the wind of stress and confusion showed up for a while. Then the leaders took up the presentation, and the program went beautiful and fine. There were many people attending. I remember Patricia saying at the end of the program, "Wow, vibrations are amazing, so cool, like Shri Mataji is there." The next day, everything was planned for the puja. Until the last minute, Shri Mataji was expected. Again, a call came in. Shri Mataji is announcing she won't be able to come, but that we have to do the puja like if she's there. That we have to get prepared to have pujas where she won't be there in a physical form for the future. That there will be a surprise. That her presence will be felt. So Shri Mataji didn't come for the first time. Still the Bhairava Puja took place, with the nice silver frame, which is now in Palazzo Doria, and the full protocol. In fact, vibrations were very strong, very fresh. And the field where it happened is still a very pleasant place to have a walk. It was the first puja of a kind, the first Nirakar puja of our Sahaj history. 2 days after, Shri Mataji went to France and started the next puja saying, "We have had Bhairava Puja in Belgium," confirming her subtle presence and making all of us comfortable with how it happened.
– 1990 में भैरवनाथ पूजा के दौरान श्री माताजी को बेल्जियम आना था, किंतु कुछ कारणवश वे नहीं आ सकी। उन्होंने संदेश भिजवाया कि आप लोग पूजा करें। उस पूजा में सभी सहयोगियों का अनुभव रहा कि उन्हें लगा जैसे कि श्री माताजी वहाँ साक्षात स्वरूप में उपस्थित हैं, और ये एक प्रकार से बेल्जियम की पहली निराकार पूजा थी।
We decide to make for the decoration a nice big banya tree, something like this. You see, it was a banya tree, in the middle the stem, and then it came open. And on the left and the right, you see two white clouds. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There are the, how we say it, the aerial roots You know, a banya tree have an aerial root, and it goes slowly down. And when it's connected with the ground, it starts to come a new tree. And you don't know? That's typical for a banyan tree. And I saw one banyan tree in Calcutta one time. He was the biggest in the world. I think he was, I don't know, 300 meters, something like that. Connected, all connected. Dus when this root goes down, it makes new roots, new trees. You understand? You understand that? It comes from up to down, and then it's connected with the earth. And from the moment it's connected, start a new tree. And it come always bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's why it's a holy tree, because it's also the tree where Buddha get his enlightenment, you know. And it's really nice to stay under a tree like that. It's something very special. It's like a magic tree. And in India they have a lot of respect for these trees.
So whether to put you all through that long process or to give you realization was a question before me. Because in these days of confusion, there cannot be much time to put you through all which Buddha had gone, and he was one individual. I had to put all of you. That would have been very difficult. I don't know how many would have sustained it. Most of them would have dropped out halfway, or maybe quarter of the way. So, it was done in a Sahaj manner. You did not have to sit in a banyan tree. Ultimately, you got your realization. Your Kundalini was awakened. And you got your enlightenment. Because I have faith in collectivity. This collective life will definitely give you what Buddha got through his individual efforts. But there also we fail that we do not know how to be collective. Individualism is all the time around us. In every way we think of individuals. Wherever collectivity has worked, Sahajayoga has prospered. And wherever it has not worked, there has been a problem.
Following the instructions of Shri Mataji, we started searching in a triangle between Brussels, Ghent and Antwerp for a suitable house, big enough to become our national ashram. Several locations were presented to Shri Mataji. In the end, she said to call her when we found one. After a few months, Patricia called Shri Mataji with a proposition, and before she could say anything, Shri Mataji said, "Oh, you found an ashram." That was Everbeek. The house was bought in 1991. Except for the outside walls, the inside quay walls and the roof, everything was broken down. From the bottom floor, one could see the roof. The renovation took 2 years.
It's true, the Vishnumaya adventure, yeah.
अब हम विष्णु माया शक्ति के विवरण को सुनेंगे, तो आइए जानते हैं बेल्जियम के सहयोगियों के अनुभव को।
Yeah, I remember we just bought the ashram in Everbeek, and we all came together with the yogis to see the place. And we were all curious and interested to see the old farm. And we are everywhere in that place. But suddenly it started to come very special weather. It started to be thunder and bliksem, lightning, and very heavy. And also the family of the owner who died in that house, in the ashram, the family was also there. And they stay outside. But we, the yogis, we stay inside the house. And suddenly there was a big noise and a big lightning. And I was in the room with other yogis where Shri Mataji, her sleeping room is, now the meditation place. But there were also yogis who stayed in the area of the Havan room and in the living room now, in that area. And suddenly there was, this lightning came inside and it came through the chimney, but not the chimney where Shri Mataji sleeps, another one. I think must be a chimney near the Havan room, somewhere there. And Vishnumaya came inside and it was like a ball lightning, like a tennis ball, big like a tennis ball. Not more than that. And yogis they saw, we stayed in the room of the living room there. They saw that this lightning ball moved and floats through all the different rooms of the ashram. And also this ball lightning came in the room where the farmer died in the bed. Yes, Vishnumaya came 2 times in the ashram. The first time on the day we all looked there, and we want to discover this rooms and this farm. But the second time, Shri Mataji gave order to the yogis to do a Havan, and the yogis decide to do it outside, and we must do it inside. Because
what happened the second time then?
Then she came in again in the chimney, and I remember me, she destroyed the chimney. She came in the chimney, wanted the chimney, I think is the one of the, it was the one of the meditation room, was a little bit destroyed and we need to rebuild it again. But that was just a lightning, you know, there was not a ball lightning, it was something like what happened most of the time. Yeah. And it was the second time, 2 times. And the second time was because we didn't listen to Shri Mataji. We want to do it outside and not inside. Yeah. Because inside was still a mess, you know, the whole ashram was under construction. And outside we had a lot of space, but if you want to do a Havan, you need to do it inside because it's to clean the atmosphere, you know, the house. That's why the second time she came again in the house.
It's a unique opportunity today to do Vishnumaya Puja because she entered into this house. It would all happen that way. But first you must get in tune with this all-pervading power, with Vishnumaya. If you are tuned with her, then you will never find, it's all in front of you. It's just there, because remember, now you have entered into the kingdom of God. Just test it. But on the contrary, you are all the time using your human ignorance. And then you get deceived. Try to know that you are enlightened people. That you are not any more ordinary. But unless and until you use your powers, what's the use? Now, our Vishnumaya principle is to be always kept very alert because it helps us in many ways. First of all, it helps us to pass the messages from your heart to your head. It is the one by which we integrate. Our heart and head is integrated by the Vishnumaya principle more than the Vishuddhi on the right side. Vishuddhi on the right side can create collectivity, can create understanding with each other. But on the left side helps you to keep a complete integration between your heart and your head.
शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके
everyone was invited to come and see her, talk to her. She was working on them. She was inviting us to work on them. I remember at this program also, I think it was the one in Passage 44, so in 88, I was there, I was there not really daring to come in front, and work to the people. And she pointed at me and she said, "Hey, come, you have to work." She was inviting us to work.
And how it was happening, this? How can you explain? She was telling us what to do? Or?
I mean, I can just tell about, well, I just learned at the moment she pointed the finger to me and she said, "Hey, come and help." I was staying a little bit at the back at that moment, I don't remember for which reason. And she said, no. So she was really interacting personally also with each of us like that, giving some little hints or looking at. I remember she looked at me, and she showed me, "Hey, come, we need you." And she wanted us to be there with our hands and do things with our hands at the back of these people, then talk to them and contribute to this work where attention was focused on these people for them to feel the awakening of their Kundalini. And that was the main, actually, the main thing for me was to observe how she was handling all situation, what she was choosing to say to people.
After this ascent takes place, very surprisingly, the Jews, the Hindus, the Muslims, all worship Christ as the Son of God. They also know that He is the way and He is the gate. I don't have to convince anyone. It's on their central nervous system they can ask questions and they get absolute answers. Christ was the Son of God, but it's not a blind thing, it's a fact. But if you do not allow people to know the fact, then who can say it? Also, there is another mystery created, I don't know how. Christ must have talked about Kundalini, but with this Mr. Paul, I might have been gone underground. Might have. Otherwise, how could he say that you have to be born again? He said it because also in our Sanskrit language, we call a realized soul as Vijaha, means born twice. Meaning first you are born like an egg and then you get another birth. That's why birth is also a Vijaha. If you really want to get rid of fundamentalism and all the quarrels of the fundamentalism, the best thing is to know the truth, the absolute truth. Thanks to Gorbachev, that communism threat has gone. But the greatest threat today is fundamentalism. Because I think they are not afraid of God.
श्री माताजी ने 1994 में मार्गरीटा प्रोजेक्ट बेल्जियम में भी शुरू किया, उसी प्रकार जिस प्रकार स्विट्ज़रलैंड में भी ये प्रोजेक्ट चलाया गया था। मार्गरीटा एक प्रकार की शॉप थी जिसमें बिकने वाली सभी चीज़ों को श्री माताजी स्वयं वाइब्रेट किया करती थी ताकि जहाँ जहाँ भी वो चीज़ें जाएं वहाँ वहाँ चैतन्य का प्रसार हो। मार्गरीटा का जो सिंबल हम अपनी स्क्रीन पर देख रहे हैं, यह श्री महालक्ष्मी के तत्व को दर्शाता है, दैट इज़ टू गिव एंड टू रिसीव। यह प्रोजेक्ट लोकल आर्टिस्ट्स को प्रोत्साहन देने हेतु शुरू किया गया था। यह प्रोजेक्ट बेल्जियम में शुरू करने का एक कारण यह भी था कि बेल्जियम लेफ्ट नाभि को दर्शाता है, जो कि विश्व की इकोनॉमी के सुधार में भी सहायक होगा।
National Handicrafts Margarita. Shri Mataji decided to buy a lot of international handicrafts chosen during her travels around the world. In 1994, she started with the Margarita project in Belgium. I was asked to design the logo. The initial M in her name stands of course for the name Mataji. The two arrows symbolized the import and the export. Symbol for the circulation, so important for the economy. It is the principle of Sri Lakshmi to give and to receive. The daisy or margarita flower as the favorite flower of Shri Mataji. There was a shop and a sales system. These items went through all of Belgium. There were a lot of terracottas from India, but also from America, Colombia, and also Eastern European countries. Every piece of artwork was made of clay with glazing. Shri Mataji explained that it was to encourage simple artists and stimulate creativity in the world. That was the reason she wanted to do this business. The international handicrafts went to different parts of Europe, but started in Belgium in the ashram of Everbeek. Because as Left Nabi, we also have an important role for the economics of the world.
We lived there for 1 year. Living in an ashram is something very special anyway, and is different for everyone. We were not used to live collectively, but we had the feeling we had to do that. So ashram life is a bit of a challenge. In the beginning, it's all smooth, and you live like on a cloud for a while, and then practical things are coming up, and you start encountering yourself. It's not easy every day. You go with a desire to meet others, experience life with others, meditate together, and you can find a lot of joy in it, really a lot of joy, and also some difficulties. Finally, the one you meet, in the end, is yourself. This also happens outside the ashram, but in the ashram it's more intensive, as we come all from different backgrounds. One day, Shri Mataji visited, and before she left, she stood with us, the ones who were going to live there, and she said, "It's like taking a bag and put stones in it. Fill it with stones, rough stones, and then you shake it, and you go on shaking until all the stones are smooth and round." That's really what it is. The main point is that it helps you to know yourself, then, your real self.
You know, Sahajayoga is not recognized as an official religion in Belgium. And so we have been categorized as a sect, and a dangerous sect. And this was making us laugh, but prevented us to organize lots of public programs. On the other side, it drove us to introspect on the real freedom of meditation and gathering. Finally, we chose to rent private halls, and later on the media's attention dropped down, and Sahajayoga had never any complaint or any real problem later. And then in 1989, Shri Mataji asked Patricia, "How many people are in Belgian collective?" 90 was the answer, to which Shri Mataji answered that it was too many. This surprised us, and somehow it was going against our desire to give many more self-realizations. But we thought she was driving out attention more on quality than quantity. And finally, in 1995, we were around 300 Sahajayogis moving around, with some circulation coming in and going out. Actually, Shri Mataji was pushing for vertical growth, ascent, and horizontal development of the movement. And so she gave impulsion and dynamism to it. Then later on, between 1995 and 2000, thousands of self-realization were given through Europe. And after reporting that to the puja, Shri Mataji asked, where are they? So she showed us that we should reach more depth, but also more yogis.
बेल्जियम में सहयोग फैलाने में कई कठिनाइयां आई, किंतु श्री माताजी के आशीर्वाद से एवं वहाँ के सहयोगियों के निरंतर प्रयास से सहयोग वहाँ स्थापित हुआ। श्री माताजी ने हमेशा सहयोगियों की गहनता पर जोर दिया है, ना कि सहयोगियों की संख्या पर।
आइए जानते हैं श्री माताजी द्वारा बनाया हुआ थिएटर, द थिएटर ऑफ इटर्नल वैल्यू के बारे में।
TEF has been set up in Belgium, in '96, I think, together with André from the Rode Pomp and a few other people. They kind of made all the papers, and it's set up in Belgium. It started first by making it a place, making it happen. So it was all the paperwork. And then we came to Belgium to do a play, and Victor had a lot of communication with Shri Mataji about it. She was very she really asked Victor, you have to start a professional theater group. And she said, we even talked about, she even talked about with him about the name, because Victor said, what kind of name are we going to give them? And then she said, okay, maybe Peaceful Warriors. And then finally it became a Theater of Eternal Values, so TEF. And yeah, we started, and I think she decided on the play of Molière, The Imaginary Invalid. So we started rehearsing in Everbeek. I think we stayed there for 3 months or 2.5, and it was quite interesting. It was really something, really something. Beautiful, amazing time, very difficult. You know, like we are all people which are strong characters, and coming from all different ways of acting. So it was sometimes really difficult to find a way. And we had a feminine director, which was also not so easy for some people. And all that together, it was yeah, I mean, I think it was one of the most amazing, beautiful things ever happening, because Shri Mataji's attention was a lot on it, a lot. And after the 2.5 months in Everbeek, where we rehearsed every day in some kind of a barn, I don't know, it was not so far from the ashram in Everbeek, and every day up and down with the whole lot, and then coming back in the ashram where everybody was really a beautiful time. At one point, after everything, we were in Vashi Hospital, and Shri Mataji phoned and wanted to speak to Victor, and so Victor came on the phone and said, "Please, you have to come and take a little suitcase with you." So he went there, saw Shri Mataji, and she was talking about everything and how it has gone and how important it is that there is a Theater of Eternal Value, that if there would have not been Theater of Eternal Value, would not have been started, theater would have died out.
We thank the brothers and sisters of Belgium for sharing these beautiful experiences with all of us. Let us now get ready to visit the happiest country of the world, that is Finland.
Jai Shri Mataji. Such a wonderful memories and a very active Sahajayoga in Belgium in today's time also. Sahajayoga started in 1970, but today is 2020 और 2020 में श्री माता जी के निराकार स्वरूप में जिस तरह से बेल्जियम में सहयोग फैल रहा है, ये तारीफ़ काबिल है। आप देख रहे थे कि वहाँ पे जो भी भारतीय सहयोगी है निर्मल आनंद मेला के रूप में 2019 में एकत्रित हुए थे। बेल्जियम जहाँ से श्री माता ने कहा था कि ये शांति फैलाने वाली जगह है, तो इस शांति जिस जगह से बह रही है, जो जगह विश्व के शांति का केंद्र है, वहाँ के बेल्जियम के सहयोगी आज के इस वर्ष के आखिरी दिवस पर हमें कुछ शुभकामनाएं देना चाहते हैं। Today is the last day of year 2020 and the peace center of the world is Belgium, as Shri Mataji suggested. So let's hear the message from Belgium yogis.
जय श्री माता जी, बेल्जियम सहज परिवार की ओर से
सभी बहन भाई को
नए साल की बहुत सारी शुभकामनाएं।
आपको ये नया साल
मंगलमय
शुभ में चैतन्य में
यही श्री माता जी के चरणों में प्रार्थना करते हैं।
जय श्री माता जी, we wish you a happy new year. जय श्री माता जी, we
जय
wish
श्री
you
माता जी।
happy new year.
जय श्री माता जी।
So we also send New Year wishes to Belgium collectivity and the whole world. So आपने अभी देखा संजय वेद पाठक जी, विठल भैया, फाल्गुना, श्रीकांत जी, पवन जी and Deepak. They were giving wishes on behalf of Belgium. बेल्जियम से बहने वाली शांति हमारे दिल में लेते हैं और आगे की यात्रा को जारी रखते हैं। अभी अगले 3 देशों की जो यात्रा होगी, ये थोड़ी जल्दी है लेकिन बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है। आइए पुणे युवा शक्ति के साथ इस यात्रा को जारी रखते हैं।
तो चलते हैं फिनलैंड की ओर। फिनलैंड is a North European nation bordering Sweden, Norway, and Russia. Its capital, Helsinki, occupies a peninsula surrounding islands in the Baltic Sea. फिनलैंड में श्री माता जी 1989 और 1992 में आए और उन्होंने हमें बताया है कि यह हमसा चक्रा का तत्व है। श्री माता जी फिनलैंड में पधार चुके हैं। आइए श्री माता जी के स्वागत के लिए हम भी खड़े हो जाएं और खुद को इस भीड़ में ढूंढें।
They didn't trouble you.
No, Shri Mataji.
You are English. You see, they asked you 10 questions.
Well, he went through the bags a little bit, Shri Mataji. He went through Al Ganesh's suitcase, Shri Mataji, and he looked at the pictures. I showed him the picture of the mother and child, Shri Mataji. And he agreed it was very beautiful. And that was it.
And they open on. They open my luggage.
He went all the way through your bag.
All through your bag.
I told her be careful.
Could you manage to close it?
Sabina had called it as hers. So yes, so she was trying to close up.
Very common.
He was going to found this little vase, all through, found this little wrapped in paper, this little glass vase, or a chocolate or something, I don't know what it was. Glass thing. But it was a little glass vase, wrapped in white paper, in the found it.
And you open it. Lo tieni lo stesso, tanto non
We have also prepared the room in the program. In the program.
Quelle sono le mie borse.
Okay.
Allora sono le mie. Sì, una vita di Now where is my luggage? Can you close it?
Yes.
You must.
Two people will be close to it.
Näin, onko kaikki?
Kaikki on hyvin.
sorry I have come to Finland very late, but it's the end of the night, so naturally it took some time for me to come.
Mä näin Shri Matasin silloin lentokentällä, kun hän tuli. Se 89, valtava tuuli käsissä ja vibrationit. Hän oli tosi iloinen ja otti vastaan kukkia kaiket. Meillä oli tosi vähän ihmisiä silloin. Niin se oli vaan valtava ilo, kun hän tuli. Valtava äidillinen aalto, kun hän tulee sinne lentokentälle. Se oli ihan käsittämätöntä. Ei sitä pysty sanoin kuvaamaan. Ihan uskomatonta.
About Finland, tremendous vibration. That's Finland. Very pure country.
Basically, we were in Switzerland and we decided to have a tour with a minivan. So we made a group of people. In the group were I, Guido Lanza, then from Belgium, Johan de Hoek. Right after the puja, Shri Mataji was flying to Finland and then starting a tour from Finland to St. Petersburg to Moscow. The day after, we had the puja in a little room of an hotel, and I remember that she was asking me to be a pujari, and we were like 35 people, no more than that.
ये हमें बता रहे हैं कि श्री माता जी की देवी पूजा फिनलैंड के एक होटल में एक छोटे से कमरे में हुई थी और श्री माता जी इन्हें पुजारी बनने के लिए कह रहे थे और तभी वे लगभग 35 लोग थे.
So here we are in Finland, and some people take it sad a little bit because it's the end of life, so all the problems come and settle in the end. So you have to be very patient. Okay. A little complication.
Se, että kun me oltiin niin kuin hotellin kokoustilassa ja siinä oli toinen kokous ihan niin kuin väliseinällä tai jotenkin siinä ihan vieressä. Sitten kun se oli kauheasti suitsukkeita ja kaikkea ja valtavat vibrationit, niin mä muistan, kun se pujailu loppui ja sitten siinä toisesta kokouksesta tuli niitä miehiä, ne vaan ryki ja niin kuin niiden nenät ja silmät valuivat. Ne oli ihan niin kuin... se oli niin kuin uskomatonta.
Shri Mataji oli matkalla jo siis omalle tuurilleen, jonka päätepiste kai silloin oli Venäjä ja Suomi oli ensin siinä sitä ennen. Et me oltiin vain iloisia siitä, että Shri Mataji tulee tänne ylipäätään. Myöhemmin saatiin käsitys siitä, että Venäjälle ei olisi voinut mennä ennen kuin Suomi oli avattu, jota sitten vahvistettiin muutamilla muilla asioilla.
Kyllä Suomella joku sellainen Hamsan ominaisuus on sen suhteen, että kun egoon mennään, niin näin niin kuin jumalallisessa järjestyksessä, niin pitäisi mennä Hamsan kautta.
Eli toisin sanoen, päästäkseen syvemmälle jogit tarvitsee tätä diskriminaatiota ja sen ominaisuutta. Ja tähän liittyy nyt sitten tämä Venäjän avain. Jo vuonna 1989 niin tuli tämä intuitiona mulle, että Suomi on Venäjän avain. Kun me lähestytään aivoja, jossa sitten on taas tämä ego, eli tämä minuus, ego siis, niin sen täytyy mennä se prosessi, se ylösnousemusprosessi, mennä antaumuksen kautta ja nimenomaan älyllisen diskriminaation kautta, jota sitten Suomi edustaa.
Look at Finland for divine displeasure.
Joo, ja sen takia Shri Mataji sanoi, että jumalaisen tämä oikea väärän erotuskyvyn suhteen niin pitäisi katsoa Suomeen.
It's a Hamsa chakra. It's a Hamsa chakra.
What?
It's a Hamsa chakra.
92 Mataji sanoi, että me ollaan niin kuin Hamsa-chakran maa ja me annettiin silloin joutsen, lentävä joutsen lahjaksi. Sitten se Mataji sanoi sen runon, että mitä ero on kurjalla ja joutsenilla, että joutsen pystyy ottaa maidon vedestä. Että silloin se Hamsa-chakran niin kuin ominaisuus, että se pystyy erottelemaan.
Mulla itsellä on ollut aina siis semmoinen niin ymmärrys, että Suomi on niin alkuperäinen Hamsa chakra. Se on maana nimenomaan Hamsa chakra. Sitten on Vancouver Kanadassa, joka on Hamsa Chakra, ja New York Amerikassa, joka on Hamsa Chakra, mutta ne on osana laajempaa kokonaisuutta, kun taas Suomi on nimenomaan Hamsa Chakra maana.
Silloin 92 jälkeen, kun Shri Mataji lähti pois täältä näin, niin me oltiin joskus piknikille. Silloin me käytiin mun vanhempien kesämökillä piknikillä aika usein. Ja meitä oli hirveän iso jengi ja oli myrsky. Todella hirveä myrsky. Ja sitten me saavutin sinne paikkaan, niin moottorivene ei toiminut ja kaikkea mahdollista. Me joudun soutaa kaikki sinne saareen. Niin, sitten kun me tultiin takaisinpäin sieltä, vikavene tultiin sieltä vekeä, taas oli myrsky ja satoi rakeita ja oli ihan karmea ilma. Ja sitten me vedettiin venettä vekeen, niin sitten Tuomas yhtäkkiä sanoi mulle, Raine, kato. Sitten me katsottiin fikkarilla ylös, niin siinä säässä niin 2 joutsen lensi meidän yläpuolelle. Ne oli vielä paikallaan vähän aikaa siinä. Silloin tuli vaan niin sellainen fiilis, että niin kuin Mataji kävi sanoa niin kuin moi, että se oli ihan niin samannäköinen kuin se lahja, mitä mä annettiin.
Mutta se, että kun hän oli sitten siellä ashramissa, siellä niittykummussa, se vihreä sari päällä, se oli ihana, kun hän oli niin kuin äitimaa tavallaan. Just mitä suomalaiset arvostaa luontoa ja metsää. Niin. Se oli vaan niin loistavaa, kun hän kävi.
श्री माताजी ने 1992 में घोषणा की कि फिनलैंड हंसा चक्र का देश है। यह घोषणा होने से पहले वहाँ के योगियों ने माँ को एक हंस की छोटी मूर्ति प्रस्तुत की और तभी श्री माताजी को वह मूर्ति देखकर एक हंस और बगले की कहानी याद आई। माँ ने कहा कि हंस पानी से दूध को अलग कर सकता है, पर बगला यह नहीं कर सकता, और यह भेद करना हंसा चक्र की गुणवत्ता है। We thank the yogis of Finland for taking us such a beautiful journey. अभी सफ़र को आगे बढ़ाते हैं और चलते हैं मेक्सिको। Mexico is a country in the southern portion of North America. It is bordered to the north by the US and to the south and west by the Pacific Ocean. मेक्सिको में सहजयोग की शुरुआत एक सहजयोगी बहन ग्रासियोला वास्कास द्वारा हुई। इन्हें अपना आत्म साक्षात्कार तब मिला जब वह नौकरी करने हेतु न्यूयॉर्क में रह रही थी। रिटायर होने के कुछ साल बाद इन्होंने सोचा कि सहजयोग की शुरुआत मेक्सिको में की जाए। तब उन्होंने श्री माताजी से इसके लिए अनुमति ली। श्री माताजी ने ग्रासियोला जी से कहा कि मेक्सिको में सहज के फैलाव के लिए थोड़ी दिक्कत हो सकती है, पर तुम आगे बढ़ो, मैं तुम्हारे साथ हूँ। इस प्रकार मेक्सिको में सहजयोग की शुरुआत हुई। तो चलिए मिलते हैं हमारे मेक्सिको के भाई बहनों से।
Jai Shri Mataji. Greetings to all our sisters and brothers. Hope that you all are well. We're so glad to share with you all a brief story about how the blessings and love of our Holy Mother, Shri Mataji Nirmala Devi, first came to Mexico, which is, alongside with our brother countries in North America, Central America and South America, part of the Vishuddhi of Virata. It was the end of the 80s, and a woman who eventually became our first national coordinator, Mrs. Graciela Vasquez, was working at the United Nations organization in New York City. There it was where Graciela first attended to a Sahajayoga public program and where she met Shri Mataji, and also where she had a series of beautiful experiences with Mother and with Sahaj Collective in New Jersey, and also with the seekers who attended to the public programs at the UN building. Some years later, Graciela retired from her job and decided to return to Mexico. So she asked Shri Mataji permission to bring Sahajayoga to Mexico. On that occasion, Mother told Graciela, Mexico could be a difficult country because all of the religious conditionings and several left-side problems. But all right, Shri Mataji said, go to Mexico and spread Sahajayoga, and I will always take care of you. In this way, after receiving Shri Mataji's blessings, she started Sahajayoga in Mexico between 1994 and 1995. The public programs began in Mexico City, in a public cultural center which was, for many years, the main center for all the Sahaj meetings, courses and pujas offered by the Mexican Collective. After some time, in the last years of the decade and the first ones of the 21st century, Sahajayoga was established in the capital of Mexico. That's how the Shri Mataji's divine and loving message reached many places, like the National University, or even large public events where thousands of people from all backgrounds got their self-realization. Thanks to Mother's blessings, we always had the kind and important support of many brothers and sisters from the World Sangha. We will always appreciate the support and guidance of yogis and yoginis from India, Switzerland, Spain, United States, Colombia, and other countries. Now, with the blessings of Shri Mataji, the seeds that were sown in the beginning have now spread to other cities in Mexico. And gradually, the light of love and spiritual awareness is growing through the new generations.
Thank you to our brothers and sisters of Mexico. And we pray to Shri Mataji that the Sahajayoga year grows by leaps and bounds. Let us proceed to our last destination for today, and that is Singapore. सफ़र को आगे बढ़ाते हुए चलते हैं सिंगापुर। श्री माताजी पहली बार सिंगापुर में सर सीपी श्रीवास्तव जी के साथ उनके ऑफिशियल ट्रिप पे 1970 के दरमियान आए थे। 1980 के दरमियान श्री माताजी ने सिंगापुर के सेन पागा मंदिर, जो कि श्री गणेश जी का है, वहाँ कुछ सार्वजनिक बैठकें ली। श्री माताजी ने सिंगापुर में नए साधकों पर बहुत कार्य किया है। उन्होंने भविष्य के सहजयोग के विकास का मार्ग प्रशस्त करते हुए प्रारंभिक बीज बोए हैं। तो चलिए मिलते हैं हमारे सिंगापुर के भाई बहनों से।
Singapore, a tropical island located at the end of the Malaya Peninsula. It is the crossroads of the East and West. It is home to various ethnic groups, cultures, and religions. And it is also known as the maritime capital of the world. Shri Mataji visited Singapore as early as the 1970s. In 1972, she set sail from India to America, and Singapore was one of the several ports of call. In 1976, she once again visited Singapore and Malaysia, and was widely known at that time as the wife of the chairman of the Shipping Corporation of India. But it was in the 1980s that Shri Mataji came here to give some public programs on Sahajayoga. On some visits, she would stay up to 2 weeks long, where she worked on the seekers and cured them of their problems. One of the notable program venues was the Sempaga Vinayagar Temple at Ceylon Road. The temple was dedicated to Sri Ganesha, and Shri Mataji blessed it with her presence. Despite Shri Mataji's efforts, the people in Singapore did not pay heed to the message of Sahajayoga at that time. And it was to be another 15 to 20 years more before Shri Mataji would come back for a major public program. Between 1980s and 1992, Changi Airport became a frequent stopover during her travels between India and Australia. Yogis from Malaysia and the region would be there to seek her darshan, and she spoke with each and every one of them. On March 1991, Shri Mataji happened to be at the airport when news came that a plane that had been landed was hijacked by terrorists. As she put her divine attention on the situation, a potential disaster was thankfully averted.
1980s और 1992 के बीच श्री माताजी इंडिया से ऑस्ट्रेलिया जाते वक्त सिंगापुर के चंगी एयरपोर्ट पर रुकती थी और सारे सहजी माँ का दर्शन लेने वहाँ आते थे। जब मार्च 1991 में श्री माताजी चंगी एयरपोर्ट पे थी, तब उन्हें खबर मिली कि एक प्लेन टेररिस्ट द्वारा हाईजैक हुआ है। तब श्री माताजी ने अपना चित्त इस घटना पर डाला और माँ की कृपा से एक संभावित आपदा टल गई।
From 1996 onwards, a handful of local yogis started some meetings, and by the year 2000, the collective had grown to about 15 people. Shri Mataji's 5-day stopover visit in 2002 was an important and historic event. It was the first time that the city welcomed over 400 yogis from Australia and Asian countries for a seminar and puja.
2002 में श्री माताजी की 5 दिवसीय यात्रा सिंगापुर के योगियों के लिए एक महत्वपूर्ण और ऐतिहासिक घटना थी। यह पहली बार था जब उन्होंने एक सेमिनार और पूजा के लिए ऑस्ट्रेलिया और एशिया क्षेत्र से लगभग 400 योगियों का स्वागत किया था। श्री माताजी तब रीगल्स रैफल्स होटल्स में रही थी। उन्होंने तब एशिया के करप्शन पर भाष्य किया और उन्होंने सिंगापुर के उस समय के प्रधानमंत्री ली क्वान यू की प्रशंसा की।
A public program was organized at the Suntec City Convention Center, where some 400 to 500 new seekers came and got their self-realization. Staying at the historic and regal Raffles Hotel, Shri Mataji spoke with the country coordinators about the corruption problems facing Asia. She also spoke highly of Singapore's former Prime Minister, Lee Kuan Yew, who successfully eradicated corruption. In 2006, the small collective was once again blessed with Shri Mataji's 24-hour stopover at the airport during Makar Sankranti.
2006 में श्री माताजी ने फिर एक बार चंगी एयरपोर्ट पर एक छोटी सामूहिकता को दर्शन दिए। उस समय कुछ योगियों ने फ्लाइट के टिकट तक खरीदे ताकि श्री माँ की पास से झलक पा सके। उसी साल फिर एक बार श्री माताजी सिंगापुर आए और फिर एक बार रीगल्स रफेल्स होटल में रहे।
In order to welcome her, some yogis bought flight tickets so that they could enter the transit area of the airport. The Yuva Shaktis personally served various dishes and gifts to Shri Mataji and her family. Later the same year, she visited Singapore again and stayed at the Raffles Hotel. 2007 was the last year that Shri Mataji visited Singapore. It was also the first time that the Singapore press covered her arrival at the airport in a most unplanned and spontaneous manner. The journalists were at the airport to capture the arrival of American film star, who happened to arrive at the same time as Shri Mataji. However,
2007 अंतिम वर्ष था जब श्री माताजी सिंगापुर में आए और तब पहली बार सिंगापुर प्रेस ने एयरपोर्ट पर श्री माताजी के आगमन का अनियोजित और सहज तरीके से कवर किया। सारे पत्रकार एक अमेरिकन फिल्म स्टार का फुटेज लेने एयरपोर्ट पर रुके हुए थे, जो उसी वक्त आने वाले थे जब श्री माताजी का वहाँ आगमन होने वाला था। सारे पत्रकार श्री माताजी के लिए सिंगापुर और मलेशियन योगियों की लंबी लाइन देखकर दंग रह गए और फिल्म स्टार की परवाह ना करे श्री माताजी के आगमन का फुटेज कवर किया। इस बार श्री माताजी सिंगापुर के रिट्स कार्ल्टन होटल में रह रहे थे और वहाँ उन्होंने एक छोटी पूजा भी ली।
who happened to arrive at the same time as Shri Mataji. However, they were stunned to see long queues of yogis, both locals and Malaysians, showering their love and respect to the Holy Mother at the airport, with no regard to the film star. The news article that appeared later announced the arrival of the goddess in the most beautiful way. This time, Shri Mataji stayed at the top floor of the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, where she had a sweeping view of the downtown area. She also blessed the yogis with a small puja. On April 2016, the Singapore Collective organised the first ever international Yuva tour. A huge group of 80 Yuvas from 12 different countries came and participated in self-realization programs around the country. Self-realization concerts were held in several locations, namely the Esplanade, the Skate Theatre, the SP Jain School of Global Management, the National University of Singapore, and a community centre in the Eastern District. The audience was enthralled and enchanted by the dynamism, exuberance, and devotion of these international Yuvas. Their Kundalinis danced along with joy as they listened and watched, enraptured by the Yuvas' offerings of dance performances, songs, and bhajans. 1 week later, the collective again played host to nearly 1,000 yogis from around the world. They had arrived for the Shri Rama Puja seminar, which was held at the lush green environment of the Sarimbun Scout Camp. Yogis were treated to wonderful cultural performances by guest musicians and dancers, as well as yogis and children from various countries. A short medical seminar was conducted by doctors from the Varshi Health Center, who shared their knowledge on meditation and spiritual growth.
This is the right Agya, and you can work on your Agya to lower down the ego. So you can bring down your ego.
The Sri Rama Puja offering was an overwhelming divine experience, and Sri Adi Shakti's presence was deeply felt by each and every yogi. It was a momentous event which our collective will cherish in our hearts for many years to come.
सीताराम साक्षात श्री आदि शक्ति माता जी श्री निर्मला देवी की
In the past 10 years, the collective had grown by leaps and bounds, and at present there are around 100 yogis, and about frequent classes are being conducted over the island. It has been a beautiful journey of growth and transformation for our collective. And we thank our Holy Mother from the bottom of our hearts for her many blessings of joy, collectivity and spirituality. Jai Shri
महामाया महाकाली, इस भवानी रूप को अनुमान करते हैं आज की इस यात्रा में विराम लेने का समय आया है. It's time to take a halt after the wonderful tour of Singapore. And thank you to Singapore Collectivity for arranging at such a short notice. आज हम बेल्जियम गए, फिनलैंड गए, मेक्सिको गए और सिंगापुर. Let's ask the two questions today again. Shri Mataji, whenever she visited any country, she shopped for their handicrafts in order to bless the artisans. She then gifted them to the collective and thus vibrated the homes of her children. She said, I enjoy giving. It gives me the greatest joy. Her gifts are our most cherished treasures. Shri Mataji always, after presenting the gift, of course the yogi will always say, "Oh, Shri Mataji has given me this. It has such amazing vibrations." So the purpose was to vibrate the yogi's home, because they will keep her gifts in their home. That was how Shri Adi Shakti used to work. Her biggest gift to us is our self-realization. So it's our duty to spread self-realization to other new seekers. So let's ask the question, Shri Mataji, am I keeping myself busy in spreading self-realization without any excuses? श्री माताजी हमेशा सहजयोगियों के लिए जिस भी देश जाते थे कुछ न कुछ गिफ्ट खरीदते थे और सहजयोगियों को देते थे। सहजयोगी खुश होते थे उस गिफ्ट को प्राप्त करके और घर पे रखते थे, ताकि श्री माताजी को लगता था कि सहजयोगियों के घर इस बहाने वाइब्रेट हो। हमें सबसे बड़ा जो तोहफा मिला है श्री माताजी से वो है हमारा आत्म साक्षात्कार। तो खुद को सवाल करें, श्री माताजी, क्या हम हमारा आत्म साक्षात्कार सुरक्षित रखे हुए हैं? क्या हम यह आत्म साक्षात्कार दूसरों को देने के लिए सदैव तत्पर है या खुद की जिम्मेदारियों में व्यस्त है? Let's ask the second question. We saw in Belgium when the situation went totally negative, Shri Mataji herself got in, talked to the police, and apart from all the obstacles, she had conducted the public program. We also get the obstacles, but are we fearless like our mother? Do we take responsibilities at such a moment, get in and do the needful required to handle the obstacles of spreading realization? Or we just watch the drama and we say, "Oh, I am in witness, I don't have nothing to do." श्री माताजी बेल्जियम में जब थे और कुछ नकारात्मक ग्रुप ने कार्यक्रम के विरोध में घोषणाएं देनी शुरू की तो आपत्ति आ गई थी। खुद श्री माताजी पुलिस थाने पहुंची और अपना डिप्लोमेटिक पासपोर्ट दिखा के इस कार्यक्रम के लिए संरक्षण मांगा और कार्यक्रम बड़े बखूबी किया। तो हम खुद से सवाल करें, क्या हमें भी आत्म साक्षात्कार के कार्यक्रम में कोई कठिनाई आती है तो हम जिम्मेदारी से भाग जाते हैं, या खुद आगे आकर उस समस्या का उपाय निकालकर कार्यक्रम को अच्छे तरीके से सफल बनाते हैं? श्री माताजी, ये सवाल पूछकर हमारे अंदर बदलाव प्रदान करें। With folded hands, let's thank to श्री माताजी। श्री माताजी, आपके अनेक अनेक धन्यवाद। इस साल का आखिरी दिवस 31 दिसंबर 2020। Tomorrow, the new year will be starting, 1st January 2021। हम जाएंगे हंगेरी, रोमानिया, चेक रिपब्लिक, ईरान एंड चिली। ये छोटे छोटे देश है, छोटे वीडियोस भी है। हमारे पास डेटा जो है लगभग 760 मिनटों का डेटा है और 11 दिनों में ये सारा टूर करना है। लगभग 38-39 कंट्रीज, आज तक मिला के लगभग 29 कंट्रीज हो चुके हैं, या 28। 2 जनवरी we expect द लास्ट डे ऑफ द टूर, जिसमें यूएसए, अफ्रीका, ग्रीस, मलेशिया, पोर्तुगाल और थोड़ी देर पहले जो जानकारी आई है इसमें बहरीन या यूएई भी ज्वाइन हो सकते हैं। We are the Sahajayogis, we are Kalatit. Whatever Shri Mataji would like to happen for us, whatever she has planned the tour, it will follow. We thank all brothers and sisters who are continuously watching, sending the wishes. बहुत तारीफ करते हैं यहाँ पे जो पुणे युवा शक्ति इस कार्य में लगे, दिन भर इसका अभ्यास करते और कम से कम शब्दों में आप तक ये यात्रा की जानकारी देते। Shri Mataji, thank you for giving us the opportunity to tour with you. जोरदार जय जयकारा करते हैं श्री माता जी का और विराम लेते हैं। बोलो आदि शक्ति श्री माता जी श्री निर्मला देवी की। थैंक यू श्री माता जी। थैंक यू ऑल ब्रदर्स एंड सिस्टर्स। जय श्री माता जी। हैव अ गुड डे। विश यू अ वेरी हैप्पी न्यू ईयर। Don't miss the last 2 days of the tour. Thank you. Jai Shri Mataji.
Namo Namo Maria. Namo Namo Maria. Nutacha Namaskar. Namo Namo Maria. Namo Namo Maria. Nutacha Namaskar. Chapoti